Picture this. It's Sunday night, 9 p.m. You're lying in bed, and that familiar feeling starts creeping in. Your stomach tightens, your chest feels heavy, and a quiet dread washes over you. Tomorrow is Monday, and you have to go back to the job that is slowly draining the life out of you. You've been there for 3 years, maybe 5, maybe 10. Every morning you wake up exhausted, not from lack of sleep, but from the weight of pretending. Pretending you care about the meeting, pretending the work matters, pretending you're okay when you're absolutely not. You tell yourself you'll start looking for something new next month, you promise. After this big project. After you save a little more. After the economy gets better. But next month never comes, does it? The excuses just keep piling up, and you stay exactly where you are. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't about laziness. This isn't about being stuck or unlucky. This is about 3 specific psychological traps that have you locked in a prison of your own making. And in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how these traps work, why they're so powerful, and most importantly, how to break free. I'm bringing you the framework that will change everything. This is the inverse mind, where we don't give you motivational speeches. We give you the psychological architecture behind your suffering and the exact tools to dismantle it. If you're ready to stop surviving and start living, stay with me. Because what you're about to learn could be the difference between wasting another decade or finally reclaiming your life. Let's begin. The reality of silent suffering. Let me tell you about Mark. Mark is 38 years old, married with 2 kids, and he works as a marketing manager at a mid-sized tech company. On paper, his life looks perfect. Good salary, respectable title, benefits package, the whole thing. But here's what nobody sees. Mark wakes up every single day with a knot in his stomach. He drags himself through meaningless meetings where people use words like synergy and bandwidth while saying absolutely nothing. He creates PowerPoint presentations that nobody reads. He sends emails that go nowhere. He sits in a gray cubicle under fluorescent lights, watching the clock, counting the hours until he can leave. And the worst part, he's been doing this for 7 years. 7 years of his life, gone, spent in a place that makes him feel hollow inside. He's thought about quitting 1,000 times. He's updated his resume, scrolled through job boards at midnight, even drafted his resignation letter. But every time he gets close, something stops him. The mortgage payment, the kids' school tuition, the car loan, and all the what-ifs. And so he stays. Another week, another month, another year. Does this sound familiar? Maybe you're Mark, or maybe you know someone exactly like him. Here's what's happening. Mark isn't trapped by his job. He's trapped by his psychology. His brain has constructed an elaborate system of defenses, biases, and rationalizations that make leaving feel impossible. And he's not alone. Studies show that nearly 70% of workers are either disengaged or actively hate their jobs. 70%. That's not a personal failing. That's a psychological epidemic. But here's where it gets interesting. The same mechanisms that keep people in terrible relationships, the same cognitive patterns that prevent people from pursuing their dreams, the same psychological architecture that creates learned helplessness. All of it is at play here. And once you understand these mechanisms, once you see the invisible chains for what they really are, you can break them. So let's expose these traps, one by one. Trap 1: the Golden Handcuffs. The first trap is what we call the Golden Handcuffs. And this one is devastatingly simple. You need money to survive, and your job provides that money, so leaving feels like jumping off a cliff without a parachute. But here's what makes this trap so insidious. It's not actually about survival, it's about something called lifestyle creep. Let me explain. When Mark started his job 7 years ago, he was making $60,000 a year. He had a small apartment, a used car, and a pretty simple life. He wasn't rich, but he was fine. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, things changed. He got a raise, so he moved to a nicer apartment. Another raise, so he bought a new car. His salary went up, and suddenly he's eating out 4 times a week instead of once. Netflix becomes Netflix plus Hulu plus Disney plus HBO. The gym membership gets upgraded. The vacations get more expensive. Each upgrade felt small, reasonable, deserved even. But here's what happened. His expenses grew in perfect lockstep with his income. And now, 7 years later, he's making $95,000 a year, almost 60% more than when he started. But he feels more trapped than ever. Why? Because his lifestyle now requires $95,000. This is the golden handcuffs. Every raise, every upgrade, every new subscription, every lifestyle improvement becomes another link in the chain. But there's something even deeper going on here, something psychologists call loss aversion bias. Here's how it works. The pain of losing something you already have is psychologically twice as strong as the pleasure of gaining something new. Think about that. Losing feels twice as bad as winning feels good. So when Mark thinks about leaving his job, his brain doesn't calculate. Could I find something better? His brain calculates. What will I lose? The nice apartment, the new car, the vacations, the lifestyle his family has become accustomed to. The fear of losing what he has completely overwhelms any potential excitement about what he could gain. And here's where it gets really dark. This isn't just financial. This is philosophical. The ancient Stoics and philosophers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, they understood this trap 2,000 years ago. They called it the confusion between true wealth and false wealth. True wealth, they said, isn't money or possessions. True wealth is inner freedom, autonomy, peace of mind. False wealth is external comfort that comes at the cost of your soul. And Mark has traded his true wealth for false wealth. He's given up his freedom, his peace, his sense of purpose, his mental health, all to maintain a lifestyle that doesn't even make him happy. Those subscriptions, that car, that bigger apartment, do they bring him joy? Or are they just expensive distractions from the fact that he's miserable? The inverse mind asks you to flip the equation. Instead of asking, how much do I need to maintain my current lifestyle? Ask, what's the minimum I actually need to be free? Because here's the secret. The golden handcuffs are almost always lighter than they feel. Once you calculate your actual freedom number, once you strip away all the lifestyle creep and see what you truly need to survive and be content, those handcuffs start to look more like paper chains. But we'll come back to that. First, you need to understand the second trap, and this one runs even deeper. Trap 2, the erosion of identity. The second trap is about identity, and it's devastating. When you spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week doing something, that something starts to define who you are. Your job title becomes your answer to the question, who are you? For Mark, this process has been happening for 7 years. He's not just a guy who works in marketing. He is Mark, the marketing manager at TechCorp. That's how he introduces himself at parties. That's what's on his LinkedIn profile. That's how his family thinks of him. His entire social circle is built around that job. His daily routine is structured by that job. His sense of competence, his feeling of being needed, his identity itself, it's all wrapped up in that role. And now here's the trap. Leaving the job doesn't just mean finding new employment. It means experiencing an identity crisis. Who is he without that title? What will he tell people he does? How will he introduce himself? What if he fails at something new and discovers he was never as competent as he thought? This is what psychologists call occupational identity, and it's incredibly powerful. But there's more. Humans have a deep psychological need for certainty, for predictability. We crave the known, even when the known is terrible. This creates two devastating biases: ambiguity aversion and status quo bias. Ambiguity aversion means we prefer a clear, known risk over an unclear, unknown possibility. Mark knows exactly how bad his job is. It's familiar misery. But a new career, that's a void, an abyss of unknowns. What if it's worse? What if he can't find anything? What if he's too old to start over? Status quo bias means our brains are wired to prefer things staying exactly as they are. Change requires energy, creates anxiety, and threatens our sense of control. So even though Mark consciously wants to leave, his unconscious brain is screaming, "Stay where you are! This is safe. This is known." Together, these biases create a prison. The familiar pain of staying feels safer than the unfamiliar possibility of leaving. But here's what the inverse mind sees that most people miss. This dread of the unknown isn't really about the new job. It's about confronting your unrealized potential. Let me explain. Mark had dreams once. Maybe he wanted to be a writer, or start his own business, or travel the world, or create something meaningful. But over 7 years, those dreams got buried under meetings and deadlines and performance reviews. He settled. He chose security over possibility. He became a smaller version of himself. And now, the thought of leaving isn't just scary because it's uncertain. It's scary because it forces him to face the question, what have I been doing with my life? It forces him to acknowledge that he traded his potential for a paycheck. That's a painful reckoning. It's easier to stay in denial, to keep showing up, to keep pretending, than to face the uncomfortable truth that you've been living someone else's life. Your identity hasn't been lost, it's been buried. And the thought of digging it up, of becoming who you actually are, feels more threatening than staying safe in your diminished self. This is the second trap. And if you think that's dark, wait until you see the third one. Trap 3. The cognitive dissonance loop. The third trap is entirely internal, and it's the most insidious of all. It's called the cognitive dissonance loop. Here's how it works. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort you feel when you hold two conflicting beliefs at the same time. Your brain hates this feeling. It will do almost anything to resolve it. For Mark, the conflict is this: I hate my job, and I am a rational, intelligent person who makes good decisions. Those two beliefs cannot coexist. If he's intelligent and rational, why is he staying in a job he hates? Clearly, he must be making a mistake, right? But here's the problem. Changing the situation, actually leaving the job, is hard. It requires courage, planning, and risk. So instead, the brain does something much easier. It changes the perception. It starts telling lies. Listen to these. Do they sound familiar? It's not that bad. All jobs are terrible. At least mine has good benefits. I'll stick it out for 2 more years, and then I'll leave. A promise that's been made every year for the past 5 years. My boss is the real problem. If I just get transferred to a different team, everything will be fine. Other people have it so much worse. I should be grateful. I'm too old to start over. This is just what adult life is. These are rationalizations. These are lies your brain tells you to resolve the dissonance without having to take the terrifying step of actually changing your situation. And here's the devastating part. The longer you stay, the more you have to justify staying. Each year you remain in that job, you accumulate more evidence that you need to explain to yourself. I've been here for 7 years. I can't leave now. That would mean I wasted 7 years. So you stay another year. And now it's 8 years you have to justify. And then 9. And then 10. This is the cognitive dissonance loop. The lie feeds the inaction, and the inaction strengthens the lie. You become a prisoner who builds your own cell, brick by brick, with your own rationalizations. But let's talk about what this does to you philosophically, spiritually even. The Stoics believed in living with integrity, in alignment between your values and your actions. They believed that virtue, that excellence of character, was the only true good. And what Mark is doing, what anyone trapped in this loop is doing, is the opposite. It's self-betrayal. You know you're unhappy. You know you're wasting your potential. You know you're living inauthentically. But you choose comfort over truth, security over integrity, familiarity over freedom. That's not a small thing. That corrodes you from the inside. Every day you stay, you lose a little more respect for yourself. Every rationalization weakens your sense of self-trust. You become someone you don't recognize. Someone who says one thing and does another. Someone who knows what they want but refuses to pursue it. This is the third trap. And it's the one that keeps people stuck for decades. But here's the good news. Once you understand these traps, once you see them clearly, you can break them. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. The inverse solution. 3 pillars of liberation. Alright, enough diagnosis. Let's talk about the cure. Breaking free from a job you hate isn't about motivation. It's not about willpower. It's about strategy. It's about dismantling these psychological traps systematically one by one. Here are the inverse mind's 3 pillars of liberation. Pillar 1. Define your freedom threshold. The first step is to destroy the illusion of the golden handcuffs. Most people have no idea how much money they actually need. They only know how much they spend. And those two numbers are very, very different. Here's what you're going to do. I want you to track every single expense for the next 3 months. Every coffee, every subscription, every impulse purchase, everything. Then I want you to ruthlessly cut everything that isn't essential. Not important, not nice to have, essential. Do you need 5 streaming services? Or could you survive with 1? Do you need to eat out 4 times a week, or could you cook at home? Do you need the luxury car? Or would a reliable used one work just fine? Cut until you find your actual survival number. This is what I call your freedom budget. This is the absolute minimum you need to live with dignity, not luxury, but dignity. For most people, this number is shockingly lower than their current salary. Mark thought he needed $95,000. Turns out, his actual freedom number is $58,000. That's a 60% reduction. Suddenly, the job market opens up. Suddenly he has options he didn't think existed. But here's the next step. Once you know your freedom number, commit to saving 3 to 6 months of that amount. This is your exit runway. This isn't quitting money. This is psychological security money. It's the buffer that lets you breathe. That lets you explore options without panic. When you have 6 months of expenses saved, the golden handcuffs don't just loosen, they disappear. Pillar 2. Reclaim your occupational identity. The second step is to separate your self-worth from your job title. You are not your job. You are not the marketing manager. You are Mark, a human being with interests, passions, skills, and dreams that have nothing to do with your employment. But you've forgotten that. So we're going to rebuild it. Here's your assignment. I want you to cultivate what I call a side identity. Find something, anything that you're genuinely interested in that has nothing to do with your career. Pottery, hiking, writing, photography, woodworking, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I don't care what it is. Commit real time to it. Not just casual dabbling, real commitment. Join a class, find a community, set goals and get better at it. This does something powerful. It gives you a sense of identity and self-worth that exists completely outside of your job. You start to define yourself by your passion, not your paycheck. And here's the key. When someone asks, "What do you do?" change your answer. Instead of, I'm a marketing manager. Say, I'm a writer, and I work in marketing to pay the bills. Or, I'm a potter, and I do marketing during the day. You just shifted the narrative. You just reclaimed your identity. This might seem small, but it's psychologically enormous. You're telling yourself and the world that your job is not who you are. It's just what you do for money. And when your identity isn't tied to your job, leaving becomes so much easier. Pillar 3, the 15% rule. The third pillar is about action, not thinking. You cannot think your way out of this trap. Insight without action is just entertainment. You need momentum, and momentum comes from doing. But here's the key. You don't need to quit tomorrow. You don't need to make a dramatic leap. You just need to commit 15% of your time and energy to the exit strategy. 15%. That's it. If you work 8 hours a day, that's about 1 hour. If you have 4 free hours in the evening, that's about 35 minutes. What do you do with that 15%? You take the smallest possible action that moves you toward freedom. Update your resume. Reach out to one person in your desired field. Take one online course. Apply to one job. Schedule one informational interview. Work on your side project for 30 minutes. These actions are tiny. They're non-threatening. But they're irreversible. Once you send that message, once you update that profile, once you take that course, you've created momentum. And momentum is everything. Here's what happens psychologically. Your brain starts to see evidence that change is possible. The unknown becomes less unknown. The ambiguity decreases. The fear lessens. After 2 weeks of 15% effort, you've already made more progress than you did in the last 2 years of thinking about it. After 2 months, you have a network, skills, options, confidence. After 6 months, you're not the same person. You're someone who takes action, who builds toward freedom, who doesn't just accept their circumstances. And that person, that version of you, is capable of leaving. So let's bring this home. The prison of a hated job is not built by your employer, it's built by your psychology. The golden handcuffs, the identity erosion, the cognitive dissonance loop, these are the bars on your cell. But here's what you need to understand. You are not powerless. You are not trapped. You are standing in a prison with an open door, convinced it's locked. And all you need to do is walk through. But walking through requires strategy. It requires you to dismantle the psychological mechanisms that have kept you paralyzed. Define your freedom number. Reclaim your identity. Take the 15% action. Do this consistently without negotiation, and I promise you, 6 months from now you will not recognize your life. You'll either be in a new job that excites you, or you'll be building something meaningful on your own, or you'll have options and confidence you didn't think were possible. But you have to start. Today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not after this project is done. Today. Here's your challenge. I want you to leave a comment right now with one thing. What is your freedom number? What side identity are you going to build? What is your first 15% action? Write it down. Make it real. Make it public. Because the moment you declare it, you've taken the first step. And if you want more frameworks like this, if you want to keep building your psychological toolkit for navigating this complex and challenging world, subscribe to The Inverse Mind right now. We don't do motivational fluff here. We do deep psychology, applied philosophy, and actionable strategies that actually work. Thank you for watching. Now close this app and take your first action. Your future self is waiting.